Chris here, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to this week's reading vlog. It's officially April, which means it is time for RealmAthon, and I am so excited. I have an insanely bloated TBR. I don't know. Let's see if I can swing my chair around. My TBR game did me dirty. It's currently April 1st, and that video isn't out yet because I uploaded it on Thursday, which is the 30th, and it is 2 days later, and it is still uploading. So fingers crossed I actually get it out in the near future, because I really want y'all to see how my TBR game did me really, really dirty. That will be out long before this is. But anyways, I've started a book. So I picked up The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs. I'm on page 49. So I've just started this. I also want to note that I am using my Dino bookmark. I figured it was appropriate to have a dinosaur bookmark with a, dinosaur book. I am quite interested in this story and learning more about how the dinosaurs came to be and then what happened to them. So far, so good. I'm also rolling over a couple books from March. The first being The Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie. I just did not get back to this. I was taking a break from adult fiction, so I'm 64 pages in, but I will get back to this at some point, which is not part of the dirty. Then I'm like 25% of the way through Becoming by Michelle Obama, and I'm enjoying this. And I've read the first 4 chapters in Hawkwing's Journey, and I hope to continue this because loving me some Aaron Hunter. But other than that, I have 88 million books to read thanks to Phase 10 and a bunch of other books I would like to get to. So it's going to be a very, very reading heavy month. And on top of that, I am doing a bit of a healthy eating challenge. I had a rough winter, and I am somebody who eats when they're anxious or stressed. And I had a rough winter. So in the month of April, I am trying to eat healthy. I've cut out gluten, I've cut out dairy, and I've tried where at all possible to cut out sugar for the most part. I found that those are the 3 biggest things that tend to affect not just my mood, but how I feel. So we're going to see how it goes. I've done these a bunch of times, and they're really good for kind of resetting my system. And when I first started doing it with Arbonne in January 2018, it was explained to me that basically it's kind of like I'm a clogged drain right now, and instead of fixing the drain, I'm just trying to, mop up the floor. And by doing this healthy eating challenge, I kind of unclogged the drain. I'm not doing it as severely as I did the first time, but I'm trying to get back to that. I do not like fruits and vegetables, like the texture at all. So I struggle because I don't eat them. Unless I'm drinking my protein shakes, which I haven't been doing because I get the greens blend from Arbonne and stick it in my shakes and get all of my kind of healthy fruits and veggies in my shakes. So that is part of that. That is getting me back to choosing to eat shakes instead of, waffles for breakfast. So I'm hoping I can make some decent progress in that too. Part of it is going to be moving more because with COVID, I don't leave the house, so I'm not moving. So you combine stress eating not so great things like, lots of ice cream. And like I said, waffles for breakfast instead of eating my healthy shakes. And, just all of the things I know I can't do kind of conspired against me to make me feel not so great. So we're going to go and get back on track and kind of reset my system and hopefully have a good stress-free month in April that allows me to really focus on taking care of myself, both physically and mentally. So I will be going for walks, which are essentially laps around my driveway. But it means I will be spending that time listening to audiobooks, which is a good incentive. I love reading, so this just gives me another time to read. And I struggle with audiobooks. I either need to be physically reading along or doing something with my hands. And well, I won't be doing something with my hands, but I figure walking will be a good way to squeeze in maybe some more audiobooks instead of listening to wrestling podcasts or watching a baseball game, etc. So hopefully we will have an amazing April and I will get myself back on track, like I said, physically and mentally. And I will read a lot of amazing books and rack up some points for team, is it Enya? I'll prop up the logo here. That's my team. I think it's called Anya. But I'm very excited to be participating, and I'm going to go read and get some, points for my team. And I will check back in with you soon. So it is officially April 8th. And I have not checked in once. It has been quite the week. If you follow wrestling, you know that it's been a very chaotic week in wrestling with the WrestleMania weekend and then the merger between WWE and Endeavor getting announced and the insanity that was Dynamite this week. So my attention has kind of been focused elsewhere. And on top of that, my anxiety has made me a little slumpy. Here she comes, guys. Come on. We couldn't have a video without Cielo. So, I've finished a few books, but I'm getting very good at starting books, but not finishing them. So, the books I've finished, I'm going to mention the two that I can't talk about in this video, and that's Mystic Pieces, which was one of my spring covers, which I finished, and then the Vanderbeekers of 141st Street, which is a 5-star prediction. So I finished this one as well. I had hoped to get the 5-star prediction video out today, and then I just did not get around to editing it because today was a mess. I'll get to that. The other two books I finished are Undercover Kitty, which is the latest book that I've read in the Second Chance Cat Mystery series, and I'm giving this 4.5 stars. In this series, we follow Sarah, who owns a second-hand shop and has an adorable cat named Elvis. She's got a group of older individuals who are friends of hers who run a private detective agency kind of out of her shop. And in this one, they are investigating a bunch of sabotage at a cat show, and Elvis gets entered in these shows so that they can kind of spy on the show and it not be quite as obvious that they're there. So I loved this book and the character development and all of that. The reason it's not getting 5 stars is because I pretty much pegged who the killer was from the beginning of the book. Very early on, I was like, okay, this is who I think it is. And I never really deviated from that, and I was right the entire time. So that wasn't the strongest aspect, but I really enjoyed the other stuff in this book, and Elvis and the show and the relationships between Sarah and the other characters in this book and kind of how they developed. So really, really still loving the series, and wishing I could just pick up the next book because this is the kind of stuff I want to read right now. And then the other book I finished is The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs by Steve Brusatte, and I gave this book 5 stars. This book was absolutely fascinating. I adored every minute of reading this. One of the things I learned is that birds are descended from dinosaurs. So now every time I see a bird out the window, I go, "Aw, guys, are you guys watching the dinosaurs?" So I've really, really enjoyed learning that. I thought that Steve did a really, really great way of presenting this information in a fun way that was really engaging and really sucked you in and made you want to keep reading. I believe he has another book out about mammals, and I'm hoping to have that as my nonfiction next month, or at least one of them, because I've really been enjoying learning with nonfiction. Like, I like my my biographies and stuff, but I love learning, and not being in school anymore means that I don't get to learn as easily because I'm not taking courses, so I'm not having ready-made access to learning different things. The author mentions that he took dinosaur science, and I'm like, if that had been a class at my school, I totally would have taken it. But I really, really enjoyed getting to learn about something new. So if you guys have any kind of nonfiction recs where you learn something kind of in this vein, or I don't even know, but like non-biography kind of nonfiction, I would love to know about it. Leave me a comment telling me some titles, because I really, really miss learning, and I love learning about all sorts of different things. So those are the only books I've finished. As for starting, I started Poison and Potato Salad, which is like Poison My Pretty. It's got like 2 titles. It's really, really weird. Which makes me think it started out maybe as like an indie published book and then got picked up and the title was changed. I think I'm like a third of the way through that one, and it's all right. It's not my favorite, but I'm willing to give it the whole book. I think, because it's not a very long book, I think I have, at the speed I'm listening to it at, an hour left in the audiobook. So I see no reason why I won't finish it and at least give the whole book a chance. But we're at a beauty pageant when somebody dies, and our main character is trying to put the pieces together, as she was a former like TV star, and she played a witch on TV, but she's actually a witch, and she's trying to figure out her powers, and she ends up being a judge in this beauty pageant. And so she's trying to put the pieces together, and yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's better than some of the other random ebooks I've read, so I'll give it that. Then I started The Lost Hero. I'm on chapter 5, so I'm not very far into my reread of this. I listened to this while I was in the car yesterday because we had to go get paper towels from Target. I had to leave the house. I love when I have to do that. Then I've made some progress on my reread of City of Brass. I'm on page 178. I'm enjoying this. I think a lot more than I did the first time, because like I said, I think I just was not taking it in, so I was constantly confused. And I'm reading along this time, so I think that is helping quite a bit. Hopefully, I will be able to get through this in the coming week, but I want to read cozy mysteries, and this isn't a cozy mystery. Then I made some progress in the Bones season, and I am on page 154. I'm enjoying this one as well, but again, it's not what I want to be reading, so I put it down to pick up something else, which is becoming an extremely common theme. Like, I pick something up, it sounds good, I get into it, and then I just don't have the attention span to go back to it, so I pick up something else. So that's been a struggle. And then the last update I have is that I've read some more of Becoming. I'm actually farther than this, because I listened to a little bit today and I haven't moved my bookmark, but I'm at least 272 pages into it. So hopefully I can finish this coming week, because I am actually really, really enjoying this. And it's just absolutely fascinating to look at the process of becoming president from Michelle's point of view, and getting a glimpse at her and her family and kind of their life and how normal they were before they became, well, famous. So it's been really, really enjoyable, and I really, really would like to finish it, along with everything else I'm reading. I have not picked up Hawkwing's Journey, or what is it, The Lost Argument of Kings, or something like that, the third book in the first Law trilogy. So I'm in the midst of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. 7. Because I can't seem to finish anything, and it would not surprise me in the least if I picked up something different tonight before bed. So yeah, definitely struggling. Today's mess was because I have filed for SSI. I do not have enough work credits to get disability. She's knocking my books on the floor. She's driving me absolutely nuts. I do not have enough work credits to get disability. So I had applied originally for SSI in September of 2021, and they denied the claim. Took ages. I've appealed the decision, which I did in August, and I kept waiting for them to call and set up an appointment with one of their doctors, because I knew that it didn't matter how long I had been in counseling, or what my counselor had to say, or what my primary care physician had to say, that they were going to want me evaluated by one of their doctors. And they finally called today, and my appointment is in the middle of June. And if memory serves, it takes around 6 weeks for them to put their report together. And then they send that to SSI, and then SSI has to make a decision, which means the soonest I could get financial help is August. So I stressed about that today because what a friggin' mess that is. And I'm like, guys, I can't hold my niece. I freak out in the car. New York State has done away with mask mandates in doctor's office. So the doctor's appointment I have next month, I will not be going to because I cannot go in the building because nobody will be wearing a mask. And I can't handle that. I can literally leave here, go for a drive around the block, and when I get back, I have to change all of my clothes and obsessively wash my hands because I feel dirty. Because I might have come in contact with a germ. What job do they think I'm going to work? So that has been extremely stressful and has also contributed to the absolute lack of nothing that I did today because I got sidetracked trying not to have a panic attack. So that's been fun. And yeah, it is such a struggle because I've been going through this for almost 2 years, and I actually looked to see when I got the email from them last year to set up this doctor's appointment, and it just so happened to be April 7th. Same day. It's been 1 year since I set up my last appointment. I got my last appointment last year sooner, like faster. So I am massively, massively struggling right now because I feel like a burden. Because my parents are both in their 70s. They're both on Social Security. Like, they retired. They can't work. Like, they're not physically capable of working. And I'm just sitting here not contributing anything. And it is so incredibly hard because I'm like, I don't want to not be contributing anything. And I have no way to do it. I'm like, I can't even go hang out with one of my best friends because of the germs, and it's such a stressful situation, and I'm anxious, and I'm exhausted afterwards. Absolutely exhausted because the entire time I'm on alert because I assume I'm in danger. And I live in a much more conservative area, so I'm also terrified about being myself outside of my house. And that was one of the things I came to terms with during the pandemic, was that it was okay to be ace, that I was non-binary, and that was okay. And I could love myself, and that those things didn't have to make me hate me. I figured out the autistic thing, and I have no idea how to deal with that out there. I was barely dealing with the anxiety issue out there, and now I've added in being ace, being autistic, being non-binary, and granted, I was all of those things before. I just didn't know it. And I don't want to have to go back to pretending to be something I'm not, but I don't necessarily feel safe being who I am where I live, on top of the fact that I pay attention to the news and I've seen the complete attack on people like me. And it's terrifying because I have no idea who does not give a shit and says, you do you, whatever makes you happy, I'm supportive. It's fine, who cares if you're ace or non-binary or autistic or whatever, like, I'm going to support you no matter what. I really, really just don't care about that. And who's going to be like, oh yeah, you're trans, oh, do I have some words for you? And use all of the hateful crap that I see on Fox News, because my parents watch Fox News. It's great for my self-esteem. So it has been quite the week, and I'm sorry I did not check in, but I wanted to be open and transparent about why, because it's been an entire ringer, and I wanted to explain why you haven't gotten any videos from me. Not to mention, my TBR video took 80 bajillion years to upload and edit and get posted. Like, I swear, guys, I uploaded it. Let's see, I'm looking at my calendar. I want to say Thursday afternoon, and it did not completely finish uploading, so that would be the 30th, until sometime late at night on April 1st. And if you see my TBR video, you know I added in like a little bit of a musical section because I had a bit of funny bit, and I'm almost wishing I didn't, because on April 2nd when I got up, I had to add the music in, and that took forever to like check, and until the check's finished, the music isn't there. So I didn't want to post it until that had finished. So I don't think it went out till the 3rd, and it was so incredibly stressful. So it was this thing that I was focusing on, and it's making me stressed because it wasn't out and I wanted to get it out to you guys. So it has been quite the week. I'm hoping this next week goes much, much smoother and I can get some reading done. I feel bad that I haven't checked in with this, and I don't know. I wanted to share what was going on, and if it can make one other person go, okay, I'm not alone, somebody else is dealing with these things too, then it is worth sharing my story, because I know that I have found that helpful in the past. And yeah, so I'm going to go because this has kind of gotten off track with the books, and I am feeling strangely emotional and vulnerable, and I would like to get off camera. So with all that being said, all of my social media is linked in the description below if you'd like to come chat with me. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me some rainbow emojis, because, well, everybody could use some more rainbows in their life. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!